Hello, hello. How is everybody? Today's an energy update. It's a timeless energy update. So it could have been in the past, you could hear this in the past, and you can hear this now and in the future. So it doesn't have to have a date on it. But I just see this coming up for my clients, for my friends, and I just keep thinking, what's an easy way that I can share this information? So, with all of the stuff that's happening in the world, all this stirring up and everything is also stirring up in us, right? I've talked about this many, many times. And I want to talk about this in ways of awakening, and that or our evolution, our individual evolution, our collective evolution, which is all the stuff that's happening out here and what's happening with Gaia, and eruptions, earthquakes, and all of that, and the sun and the electromagnetic field. All of this is happening physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And this is a spiritual awakening, as well as, just an evolution, a natural physical evolution of expansion. And it's expanding, the earth is expanding its consciousness, the cosmos are expanding their consciousness, and we as individuals are expanding our consciousness, evolving. And so having said that, want to say that every one of us is in a different place. We're not all in the same place. And if we're having similar things, like I have a what I call a twin sister from another lifetime, that we're good friends now, and we tend to be going through same energies, but it shows up different in with each of us, and how that is represented in each of our individual lives. But we tend to, if something's erupting in my life, there's something erupting in her life, but they're not the same, is my point. And in this evolution, so there are people that have no idea that they're evolving, or the earth's evolving, or no real idea about what's happening in the world. It just looks like whatever they see on mainstream media. Their life is seen, what's happening in the world is seen through mainstream media, and mainstream media feeds you what they want you to believe is happening in the world. You're not you're getting little clips. You're not getting big pictures of exactly what's happening. And just like individuals, each country is going through their own evolution, and again through the government, through whatever is happening in that country physically. Are they having earthquakes, flooding, what do I want to say? Just natural disasters that aren't caused by cloud seeding, any of the things that are natural. And then what's happening with the people around them. So everything is in relationship to everything else. That's another thing that I want to say. That we are in relationship to ourselves, to the people around us, to the people we work with, to the house we live in, to the car we drive, to the land that we live on, to the community, to the nation, to the birds in the sky, the trees, etc. We're in relationship to everything. You are not isolated one human being, right? So that is something to really wrap your mind around. And you are connected to the cosmos, and you're connected to the sun, and you're connected to the moon, and to all of the stars, and the energy that's out there that's coming in here, and vice versa. And we are energy. So we are an electromagnetic field of energy. We are energy waves, and we are matter, physical, more dense matter. And we are a human body that is housing a soul that, I believe, this is my opinion, never dies. That soul comes into the body. We're living out things that we want to live out, and we want to create from. And we're one of the ways that we're evolving is that we're becoming more conscious, like having a higher conscious and living more from that soul than any other time in human history. So it's like we're learning to be more conscious, a more conscious, energetic being, interconnected, multidimensional, in our powers, in our full powers, which I'll talk about a little bit later. But we're learning how to do that while in this body, in this dense body that is changing because of the light and everything that's coming into it. And how we interact with everything and are in relationship with everything is through energy. And through this energy, these, let's call it frequencies. And so, and just think of it like a radio station, like you're tuning into a radio station. There's like a certain number gets you to a certain channel. Well, there's different frequencies for different feelings. There's different frequencies for receiving information, for attracting, magnetizing information back to you. There's electromagnetic information coming in from the sun and the cosmos. You use that to tap into your feeling out, you're connected, you're tapping into your intuition, to your higher self, to, if you're a reader, your information, if you're an empath, there's an exchange of energy that you can resonate with, that you can feel into, and like, oh, I know what that is. That's depression, or that person over there is so happy. Right? So it's through our ability and our natural innate ability of being an energetic being that we're connected to everything. And the more that you are connected to that, the more powerful you are, the more you can set intentions, you can create very quickly, you can manifest very quickly, you can magnetize things into your life very quickly. So here's where I'm going right now. So I think that's an important part. And so the people that are, those that want to wake up now, and a lot of people feel that a lot of this stuff is happening in order to wake people up that's out here, like the craziness and stuff, because otherwise people are on the hamster wheel and they just keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again, and not really feeling motivated or inspired to do anything else. And so for different reasons, I'm not going to get into now, but different reasons they've been programmed to not go any further, hypnotized in a sense. So I want to say, I'm going to go out on a limb and say this right now. If you watch mainstream media and you watch it over and over and over again, the mainstream media is fed information that they're to say and how to say it and how to do it that is like brainwashing or hypnotizing, propaganda. And so if they say it over and over and they get you in a certain sense, certain they get your nervous system off, they bring in fear, and then they keep repeating things the same way. And if you if you watch mainstream media in all over, wherever mainstream is, all over in different cities or even different countries, you will see they're repeating the same wording. They come up with phrases, they come up with different things. And so that they're programming you so you will have certain reactions to that. So again, I'm going to say something and a lot of you might get really pissed off at me, but I'm asking you to be open-minded. I'm sharing something here that I think is very valuable, and trying to put things together myself. And I in no way claim to know everything or to even know a lot. This is just research I've done on my own, talking to others, diving down different being like Alice in Wonderland and just going and exploring and watching. I'm a big observer. I'm really good. I notice super subtle things, and then I have a super strong intuition and a bullshit meter, and I can just so I just follow those. But again, and I'm not about being right. Part of me is very curious, and so this is something I'm going to ask you down the road, is to to start being neutral, to observe things and listen to things. Don't buy onto it right away. Watch and see, what is happening. What do they want me to believe right now? What's the message that's coming across here? Why am I getting this message? To start questioning things more and not just taking things because somebody else says it. Okay, so the example I'm going to give you, and again, I know I'm going to say this, and when I say this word, I want you to watch what happens to your nervous system. And so anything that is like this, then you've been programmed to react this way. So the word is Trump. So people who watched mainstream media over and over again, you were hypnotized to react strongly and aggressively and angrily, etc., when you hear that word, so that you would not, because it's part of a play. This is a big game, a big terrible game. And but part is, and why am I'm not, and the people that I know that do not watch mainstream media aren't hypnotized by the words and believing that things are really strong and having to be right. So that's another thing. It's like there's no deterring from anything, and anything said against the things that the mainstream media told you get you in a rage, get you like you have to convert this person, or this person is a terrorist, or whatever, the thing comes out. I just want you to just look and see, go back and think about it, and then moving forward, watch. So what I want to try and make this really easy, I want you to think about a lot of people who are just waking up now and going, holy crap, this is craziness now. You're just waking up, and what you end up waking up to, and you might wake up multiple times, I have, and different things, you realize you're in this box. You're in this box that people outside that are wanting you to be a certain way put you in this box. And at one point when I was growing up, we all thought it was mom and dad. Moms and dads, they're the reason we're in this box. They're the reason we feel everything that we feel. They're the reason we think the things that we think. But that's not, I've discovered that that's not the only thing. What else programs us, and in what ways do they program? Who is programming us? A lot of times through fear, and again, repeating things over and over again. So number one is religion. Religion is one of those that wants you in a box and wants you a certain way. And if you're a female in this religion, this is what you do, and this is the powers you have. And if you're a male, this is the powers, and this is the way that we want you to be. So religion is one of those. That actually takes your power away. Doesn't want you to know how powerful you are. Have used various ways to create wars to say we're right and you're wrong, and people are taught this, and bringing up all this energy and power behind these words, behind the doctrine, to make you hate somebody else, or to make you think that you're going to go to hell if you don't fit in this box. And so that's one way. Religion is one way. I'm looking at my paper, if you see me looking down, to try it, because I can go over to keep me here. So when you're waking up, you wake up and it's like, it's all of a sudden you realize, oh my God, I'm in a box. I've been told. I have people that have woken up and to see that they're in a family of narcissists, and how they've been suppressed and told that they're not worthy and not treated horribly. And so realizing, and they worshiped and honored their parents, and then all of a sudden to realize that the parents don't really care for you the way that you thought that they did. And so again, now you're starting to see, I'm in the box. I'm a daughter, I'm a son, I'm a mother, I'm a father, I'm a worker, I'm a hard worker, I'm a Catholic, I'm a Jew, I'm a Hebrew, I'm from China, I'm from Russia, I'm a government official, I'm from Mexico, I'm a laborer, I'm a white woman, I'm an actress, I'm an actor, I'm a president, whatever labels we put on. We also put labels on our career, and our we're in the box on what careers we should be doing, how much money we should be making, what our life should look like. Who's telling you that? That a lot of this is from the media also. So that's second. Religion, media, newspapers, magazines, just go look. You're being taught always, you're not enough, you don't have it together, you're not there yet. You're not there yet. You need a little bit more. You need to do this, you need to do that, you need to be sexier, you need to be wealthier, you need to lose weight, you need to gain weight, you need to get rid of the wrinkles, you need to be young, you need to be hairless. It's just like, it's crazy making when you think about it. Education also. Education used to be much more explorative and a lot of different things. Now it's controlled, it's done for testing, it's sit down, shut up, listen to authority, and it's like, and if you can't do that, then kids are drugged. And anyway, this is one, there's constant, and I'm it's not the teacher's fault. It's the rules and stuff that have been put on the educational system that the teachers have to follow. The teachers are most precious people in the world, and there are exceptions, but you know, they have to follow and do things. And again, wherever you're getting information, the same information over and over and over again, it's putting you in a box. So what did I say? Then it's your national, what's your nation say? How are you supposed to feel about your nation? How are you, it's also in the box. Are you Republican? Are you Democrat? All the divisions. You're in a box if you're believing in division. You're in a box if you're thinking things have to be right, wrong, good, bad, negative, positive. If you're judging everything, you're in a box. However it is that you judge what's right, wrong, good, bad, negative, positive, you ticking off boxes, and then you say, this is who I am, right? This is who I am. And maybe you grew up that you're clumsy, and so people make fun of you, and you just keep thinking, well, I'm clumsy. You're living from, again, what you've taken on to be true, and somebody else's recipe for you, versus being in your own power, which I'm going to call getting out of the box. So right now we're talking about being in the box and what creates you being in the box. And it's all your labels, all the way you're supposed to, you think this is how things should be. This is what are believing in things that people want you to believe into. So it's from living from out here in, where is out of the box, you're living inside out. So you're trusting and more and guided from what's inside and what you feel to be true. And you can take in all of that information that you're in the box. In fact, that's one of the things that to get out of the box is for you to look at all the things that have you in the box, because that's really important to see what's driving your life right now and what's limiting you, because a lot of those things are keeping you small, keeping you in the box, keeping you thinking there's not opportunities, that it's homeless, that you're limited, that you are not valued or cared for the way that you would like to be, or unlovable. Your health, your well-being, what you focus on, what you don't focus on. Again, all of that is programming, conditioning, brainwashing, propaganda that's been fed to you over and over and over since you're a little child. And then whatever things have influenced you otherwise, what you see on TV, what you listen to in music, what you watch on games, if you play games over and over again that are killing, shooting, beating up, what that does is that numbs you to killing. Not that you're going to go out necessarily and do it, but some people do, but it doesn't bother you. It used to really bother people with all these shootings and stuff, but it's like, nah, it's like natural. You feel like it's natural now because you play it in the games all the time, or you're hearing it in the music, or you're seeing it in the movies. So what you're being shown over and over and over again, hearing over and over again, the same wording, the same phrases, the same scenarios playing out, same type of music. They're playing on your emotions. They're playing on your fear. They're numbing you. There's all these creating how. Just notice how much it's promoted to numb and dumb and do things to not feel what you're feeling inside. To not value that, to not research. That's one of the things too that I've no, not only me, a lot of other people who've noticed the people who watch mainstream news, just that over and over again. There's no research. It's like you've been programmed, trust us, don't trust anybody else. Listen to us, don't trust anybody else. And there's actually been research on this too, that the people who have spent the most time in school are the ones that this happens to more deeply. They're taught to obey and to listen to authority, and you're being taught what to think, not how to think, not to be discerning, not to have questions. Just listen, we'll take care of you, and we'll handle it, and to not be an independent thinker. So I know that's a lot. I know that's a lot. There's a lot to think about there, and everybody is going to be all over the place, in different places. It's going to be different for each one of you who are hearing this. When you look at, okay, how am I in a box? How do I show up? And so also in those boxes are, right, it's all your limitations, and you're also taught to blame people. It's somebody else's fault, because you're not taught to do your own research. You're not taught to go out and think for yourself. So it's got to be somebody else's fault, and you're right because you're following the people who are telling you they're right, that are feeding you the information over and over again. So there's a trust, just like in a family. So just again, going back, everything is energy, and you are in relationship with everything. You're in relationship with everything that you interact with. And everything that you interact with has a frequency, and that frequency influences you, and your frequency influences others. So if you find that you're, and again, I'm just gonna keep using the mainstream media, because you're tuning to a station, and that station is getting you to tune to it, and so then that becomes like a frequency that you're tuned to. So anything else outside of that frequency with this information doesn't feel good, doesn't feel right, because you've gotten comfortable with this, and you've had emotional things that have, what do I want to say, work their way into your nervous system, and so you'll pay attention to it whatever way that you've worked that out for yourself. And so some people don't want to pay attention. They want to put their head in the sand. They want to get stoned, get drunk, have sex, shop, space out on movies, whatever it is, and don't blame me. I'm not blaming anybody. I'm very neutral about all of this. And but I do get rattled at times. I'm not neutral all the time. But again, I see this as everybody's in a box, and it's not the same box. Every box is different. Each person has a different box that they're in, because you have different beliefs and different situations and different things that came in, depending on who you were influenced by, what books you read, whether you went to higher education or not, where you lived, the government that you have, the people that were in your life influencing you, and the different experiences that you had. I had experiences with psychic abilities and angels, and my intuition at a very young age. So I knew that there was more than what's here, what I could just, put my hands on and see. So I knew there was something beyond, even though I did not know what that was. So it always left space for me, that even when I was in the box. So what I'm asking, and I think is important, is first we have to realize we are in a box, or that we've and we have to take responsibility that we're believing what we've been programmed to be. You're not necessarily responsible for that until you wake up, and once you start waking up, now you are responsible for finding out who you are and getting out of the box. So we really want to be out of a box and living more, so not from labels, not from beliefs, not from old habits. We want to be creating as we go. We want to be present in the now moment. That's where you create from. That's where information comes in. That's why, if I'm out of the box and I'm in the present moment, I'm observing what's happening around me. I'm observing what's happening to other people. I'm observing the world, but I'm not entangled in it. I'm not enmeshed in it. It's like I'm kind of above, and I can see different things that are happening and playing out. And then I can say, okay, now, what do I want to create from this? Or, it's just like, part was, let's create this video for people. Let's just help a bit, because I remember myself, the times that I have awakened and realized, and I've gone, oh. And as the further along you get, you start to awaken a lot faster and seeing different things. And also, you're not going to awaken to everything. So those probably stuff that I'm saying right here, right now, that you're not ready to hear, so you're not really going to hear it. But you might listen to this a month from now, and now you can hear different things, and it sets in differently, and you can accept it, because you might be really resistant to what I'm saying right now, even though there's something that's registering as like, oh, what she's saying, I know this. I know this, but I'm not ready. I don't, and that's fine. That's the whole thing is like accepting where we're at and what's happening, and coming back right now, coming back to yourself, taking good care of yourself, and then saying, so how do we get out of the box? Oops, sorry. I'm just moving my foot. And I want to say, when you're getting out of the box and you're changing, it can feel like you're dying, because what happens is you're letting go of all of these aspects of yourself, these labels, these things that you lived your life by. That was kind of like false values and stuff, but things that kind of guided you, and this is who I am, and this is how I'll show up, and blah 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 blah, blah, and what you were striving for, and you're on this path, and and all of a sudden it doesn't mean anything to you anymore. It's not. Your job doesn't mean something. Your relationships might not mean anything to you. Or they're different. They have to be different. Religion you might see differently, and everything. You might see the government differently. The media. All these things that you trusted in and you had faith in, and all of a sudden you feel some betrayal, or letting go. The really thinking about. I've had to really look at, what does it mean to be a mother? What does it mean to have children? What does it mean to, friendships, and just different things that I was enmeshed in the label, and not really free, not free to be me. And one of the things is, when you're getting out of the box and you're breaking free out of that box, is that's the one thing you're like, it's really hard to be you, authentically you, because you're bouncing back and forth, but also the people around you that were used to you being in the box, you know, living how they thought you should be, and how you were programmed to be. You were living that, you know, that's how it's uncomfortable that you're not that way anymore, because then you start to rattle their box a little bit, and they're like, well, if that's not true, then, you know, my life's not true. Well, I'm not dealing with that right now. You know, I've got to deal with this over here. I've got to deal with my job. I've got to deal with my relationship. I've got to deal with, you know, whatever it is that you're pursuing at that time that you find is more important than you expressing yourself in the world, which is, again, in the box. You're showing up how you think you should, how you've been trained to, how you've been, you know, all the rules about you should make so much money, you should look this way, you should speak this way, etc. So breaking out of the box is looking and finding, right, all of those ways that all the things that aren't true, all the beliefs that you have that aren't true. I remember I did that. I went through, I think those of you who've been with me a long time have heard that story. So looking at all the beliefs that aren't true, looking at all the labels, looking at the words that you use to express your life or to talk about your life that are limiting. Let me look here at my notes. So when you get out of the box, when you're breaking out of the box, so I'm going to give you a little bit. So you start, the only way you can change is changing what's in the box. That's the only way you're going to start making a difference. You can't just say, okay, I want things to be this way. No, you're going to walk differently. You're going to talk differently. My voice changed. If you go back to my beginning videos way back in like 2006 or 7, somewhere around there, or maybe it's even later, you'll hear my voice is different. Your body will look different. You will eat differently. You'll have different thoughts, different feelings. You'll use different words. You'll attract different people into your life. You'll attract new circumstances. Your life will become much richer because you will not feel limited. Because again, everything is energy. So when you start to change what you're thinking and feeling, and start to open up to how powerful you really are, your frequency raises, right? Everything's different. So your energy level and the love that you have for yourself and for others starts to expand. And so just think of it as like shedding, like you're shedding these old beliefs and programming and different things. Sometimes it's easy to do that, and other times it can be very hard. And like I said, it can feel like that part of you that you thought was so important and so valuable wasn't. It was just, you just made it up. But that's all right. And it can, but so they can feel like these mini deaths, or it can feel, you know, dark night of the soul, where you're just really going in and you're just letting all of this stuff out. It depends on how fast you want to let it out, what means that you do that, how you feel about it. I think it's important, if you can, to feel safe and to have somebody that to help you through that process, which I can do, or there's many others around that can help you do that. But it because it can feel crazy making. It can feel very crazy making, and depending on the people around you. I mean, there's many more people now that are you know, aware of this or have been waking up, so it won't it isn't like when I was going through it and very few people were going through that. So there's a lot more support for that. And I think having at least one person to support you in that is very key. Just even if it's just calling up and saying, I'm having a really hard time, or are you feeling like something's happening in the world with the sun or something? Because I'm feeling all this different energy and I'm not sure and it's scaring me. It's really nice having somebody that you can talk to about that and share that with. That's really made a difference in my life, having people I could do that with. So that's why I like to be here for people. Yeah, so getting rid of the old expectations and doing new things and realizing, like, just being you is perfect. Like, all these expectations about the hoops and everything you have to jump through, that's all programming. That is all programming. And so there's a lot of grief that you'll go through because you'll feel betrayed. You'll see how you betrayed yourself and treated yourself poorly because of the programming. Again, it's not your fault, but again, taking care of yourself and nurturing yourself and valuing yourself. But the point I want to get across is you will not change yourself unless you get out of your box. And you will not be a benefit to this world. And you will not know the powers that you have to positively influence and help change this world if you stay in your box and don't do the work. And that's what I mean. Just do the work, and you can do as much as you want at a time. But I would start slowly, because a lot of time, depending on, some things you'll pull out and you'll have a bunch of suckers with it and it's super easy and you're like, wow, and you feel different. I remember one time letting go of something. How I used to take myself so seriously about being a parent, like just made life serious. And I was also, it was serious about being a wife, like I have to be serious now. And when I let go of that, like my sense of humor came back, and all of a sudden I could feel the bubblingness of humor and stuff coming up inside of me. So you'll start to feel the difference. And that is a higher frequency that will attract new things, new people, new situations. And also it's a frequency that now you can create with, setting intentions about how to serve other people, how to positively influence and change the things that really matter to you in this world, to start thinking about what you want in this world. So we're seeing everything crumble down, right? We're seeing all the systems start to break down, and they're breaking down to have big breakthroughs. Just like you're breaking down those old beliefs, those old programs, just like governments and everything, and the financial system and the educational system and the health system are all breaking down, so we can create the things that we really need and serve us to be healthy, to be productive in the way that is like really creative, creating the things that we really need and that will serve the greater good of all, and etc. So okay, so I forgot where I was going, but I know I made that point. Oh yes, and then you start to see your multidimensional powers. You start these new. They've always been there. They're always your rich self, your vibrant, you're multidimensional, you're intuitive, you're unconditionally loving, your brilliant self is there, and it's just got a bunch of crap on it that you unknowingly collected from your experiences in life. And now this whole evolution and awakening and the sun coming in, and it's like shaking up. It's like, come on, you know, like, let the light in. Come on, we gotta, let's get rid of all, let's break this box apart. Let's see, you know, you're so much more than what you are in this box. You're keeping yourself so small. You're huge energy, and come out and play, come out and create, come out and lead, come out and entertain, come out and love. So I think this is a good place to stop. I think I covered everything. So let me know what you think. And again, remember, everybody's in a different place. I don't expect that a lot of people will get this. And then hopefully this is something you can go back to and just keep watching as you grow and as you take more steps in it. And then you can, it'll be like, oh, that's what she meant by that. Try to make this, simplify it so you can just keep asking, you know. So one of the things is you can say, like, is this in box thinking or is this out of box thinking? And out of box thinking is more the 4D, 5D. So you're taking in more of the big picture. You're not entangled with it. It's not division. It's not competition. It's more, it's very healing and very unconditionally loving and supportive. There's a lot there. And so just knowing, like, so think of it in the box 3D, although you're going to be in the box as you're growing too. So I say all the time, I'm in my 3D thinking, I'm upset, and then I can go my 4 or 5D, and I'm just like, okay, got the big picture. I'm cruising along here, and then I go, yeah, I'm drawn in somewhere through my kids or some relationship or something that I see going on in the world that caught me, and I get rattled, you know, and then I'm okay, breathe, and then what do I want to create in the world? What do I want to see? Like this in the terror or the anger and all of that. Anger is good to get you moving in a direction. Like, anger's not a bad thing. It gets you into action. But if I'm in fear and then I'm creating stories, because us sensitives are such great storytellers that we can just go to the worst scenario or the best scenario. So I'm taking myself to the best scenario. This is from this high, loving, unconditionally loving energy. This is what I'm intending for our world, and this is what I'm intending, and however I can help in that process of creating this love, this healthiness, the children are safe, the parents and family unit comes back to together. That's another thing, you know, one of the big programmings has been to split the family, split the mother, father, get the mother out of the house, get the kids into the school so they can be taught whatever the heads of the education want to be teaching the kids, and then now they want to take the rights of the parents and stuff away, and, you know, break up the family, because if we're not a big unit, if we're not connected, then we don't have power as a group, and we're all distorted, and we're arguing, and we're pointing fingers, and no, every time you point a finger, there's 3 fingers pointing back at you. So everything that you put out there comes back at you. So if you are fuming at Trump, you're continuing that energy, you're fueling that energy, you're fueling the in the box thinking. You're not creating anything new. You're not creating something better. You're not designing where can we go. And that's what they want you to keep living in, that, because then they're out there making laws and doing things that are taking away, like, you guys pay attention to this over here, and we're going to undermine you over here with different new laws and stuff you aren't paying attention to, and we're going to have a war over here. We're just going to keep you distracted and in fear and just believing in us while we're doing all this other stuff that you'll wake up to one day and then just go, what happened, what happened, what happened? And it's just like, you guys didn't say anything, you weren't paying attention, you weren't conscious about that. So you know, this is you, if you comply by silence, you're saying yes, you know. So we need to start saying what we want and what we don't want, and that's going to require a lot of your attention on matters right now, because there's a lot of stuff that's being tried to be snuck into, like the big beautiful bill. There was a lot of stuff in there, and other bills and stuff that they're trying to like sell off public land and make it so you can't get to it, and shutting down the roads where we all used to camp, and all sorts of things. I don't go into all of it because I don't want to get entangled in that, but I am aware, and I'm signing petitions, and I'm calling my senators and my Congress people, and you know, so it's just like you have to pay attention. Look up children's rights, families' rights, you know, all the health stuff that's happening, all the insurance stuff that's taking away all the insurance for homes and stuff. You know, there's a lot of stuff happening that when you're in the box, you don't notice because they don't want you to pay attention. And again, mainstream media is part of the programming, so they're not going to tell you to pay attention to the things that they're being told to not let you know. So you got to do your own research. Okay, so, and again, this is my opinion, what I've been seeing. I don't expect people to agree with me. I don't expect most people, like everything. We're all in different places. I have no idea what's fully going on. I know there's a lot where I've researched, and I know there's a lot more. I call this like there's 5 chess games going on, playing on top of each other, different people playing the chess games, different dimensions playing. One thing moves and the whole game changes. And so there's good guys playing like bad guys, there's bad guys playing like good guys, there's all sorts of things that are going. And so I just have to be open-minded. I'm just observing. I'm helping where I think there's issues that really I see as a problem, that, and I think also get like everything that's happening now, it has just not started to happen now. It's been in place for hundreds of years, working its way to where it is right now in increments. And that's another interesting thing. And this is worldwide. It's not just US, not just Canada. You know, it's all over the world. It's a fascinating game. And so it's learning how to play this, how to make the best of it. Don't take your life for granted. Don't take anybody else's life. Tell the people that you love them, because we don't know day by day what's going to happen. And but we do have the power to change things and to make things better. And so that's why I'm sharing this, because I'm hoping, my intention is that that this will serve all of you in ways that will help you make your life better. And in doing that, you will help others. It will ripple out. Okay, I love you. Until we meet again, love, live, and matter. Take care. Bye.